So am I've been talking to housies a lot. So part of the reason why I fly this sign. So for you guys that haven't seen the sign, let me show it to you. So it's got a QR code. It says. So this is the newest article I posted from Jim Crow to camping bans. I've got a QR code for the story. Plus I've got the website and the YouTube channel. Okay. So you guys are more than welcome to say hi to her if you'd like. Yeah. but But this is, and while I'm talking to these houses, and I basically regurgitated everything that I talked about last week, and they're like, the common response that I'm getting is like, we've been talking about this in our circles, but we didn't understand it. This makes perfect sense, because once you actually explain it to people and show them the cause and effect, and show them the causation chain, then they're able to go, okay, now this makes sense. Now I know why I should or shouldn't like it. My goal is not to sway your opinion to be pro-homeless or anti-homeless. That is your personal opinion. What I want to do is I want to educate you on the homeless issue, what issues are actually affecting the homeless, what policies look like on the ground. Because you could say, great, there's a homeless shelter. But to a homeless person, they're like, there's another place I probably won't ever go. And so you're going, well, why aren't these people going to the homeless shelter? And you're like, because I'm not safe there. And you open it up to the unsafe people. Well, the safe people are still stuck outside because it's safer to sleep outside than it is to sleep inside in that situation. And so for the average house individual, they don't understand. They're just going, why the hell? These guys must be wanting to stay outside because of drugs. And so therefore they follow that. When it has nothing to do with drugs and has everything to do with safety. Okay. The ones that go in there have ease of access. Like you can go in there and find your dope dealer. You can go in there and do your dope in the bathrooms, all that shit. Like, no, if you want to do dope, you go to the shelters. If you don't want to, you stay away from the shelters. And so, like that's a big tell for you as well. But it is what it is. Um, it is what it is. But the average housed individual does not fully understand these policies. They just hear it. It sounds good. Like, oh, well, we're just taking care of the drug addicts and the mentally ill because they need help anyways. And so any help's better than no help. Well, not realizing that this isn't really help. It is a wolf in sheep's clothing. It is a red herring. It is the canary in the coal mine to tell you that there are nefarious things that are about to go on. But as long as they get everybody else to go on and they make it sound like it's something nice, oh yes, we're having succulent roast beef sauteed in mushroom gravy. Dude, it's fucking slop. But as long as they tell you it's sauteed in mushroom gravy, you think we're getting a good meal, when in reality, we're getting mystery stew. Okay, that's the disconnect. And a lot of this has to do with the PR campaign and the way in which they disseminate information. And so as somebody who's been chronically homeless for 25 years, as somebody who understands what's going on, understands what the policies look like on the ground, I'm trying to bring awareness to this to those that either agree or disagree with homelessness. I do not care. I want to make sure that you have the facts on the ground. Because then the next question comes, are you such a inhumane person that you think that these cruel and unusual things being done to another human being are okay, or do you not? Because you may want to have the homeless issue resolved, but you may want it to be done in a humane way. And so therefore it gives you an opportunity to hold your government accountable and say, look, we want this done in a humane way. We don't want this done just like, hey, let's just like sweep them up, violate their rights, and treat them like they're subhuman. Okay, I think the average Joe on the street does not think that that's happening to the homeless, nor do they want that happening to the homeless, but that happens to us on a daily basis. Okay, and these are the people that I'm trying to reach. These are the people that are going to keep this broadcast, keep this live stream, keep this channel, keep me alive. Okay, because it has taken me a while. I have constantly said, hey guys, can you put something in my tip jar? Because when I was doing a vlog style, yeah, in a lot of ways I was relying on your charity, but I have switched that to a point to where now instead of framing it in the sense of, hey, can you put something in my tip jar? Here's what I really am. This is what my goals are. This is the way that I guess you could say the way I'm spinning it is, that this is a newscast. It's going to keep going. It's up to you to keep to support the broadcast in the sense that you want to make sure that that it stays alive. Because as long as I'm getting money from YouTube, so which means as long as I'm part of the partner program, I will always do this. If they take away my partnership program and I have no input from the audience, then that is something to me that says, dude, I just need to move on, or and find something else, or one or the other. Okay, so what I'm asking you guys to do is not to leave me a tip if you find this valuable, but more or less to, if you want to see this up every 3 months, every quarter, I need to raise $4,500 in underwriting. The rest of it's being raised through other means, but as far as what I'm able to get, when I get to that point where I can raise $4,500 in a quarter, what that does is that opens me up to where I'm not sitting here just doing hobotizing with my sign and my QR code, hoping to build a small audience one by one of people that find this work valuable until I get to a point where I know that I can count on it and I can go and actually get to work. Because I need to be able to get to these stories. I need to be able to have the time. Like I only get so many hours a day to do to focus on the channel, and then the rest of it I've got to be able to offset what I'm not making from the channel to make sure that I can keep doing what I'm doing, because I got to keep buying things like tokens for my website. I upgraded me with some gear. I've got a tripod that actually it's 5.5 feet, so it's right. And I've got a microphone coming that actually has an app that I can configure it on. It also will allow me noise cancellation. So that means I can be out here and I can have a clear broadcast. I can be out here, I can do interviews and do on the street interviews while I'm doing it. This allows me to upgrade what it is that I'm doing. For probably the next year, every extra dollar I get is going to be put into reinvesting into this channel so that I can bring you better news stories, more news stories, and have more in-depth knowledge, whether it's being able to have the connections to make a phone call and get some answers, all the way to having them on as a guest. Because just from that webinar that I went to the other day, I'm trying to get about 4 people to come on here that I can interview as for the live stream. Okay, so what you guys are doing, you guys are underwriting this channel. You were saying that it has value, that you want to make sure that it keeps going, and that's what you're doing. And so when you guys hear me talking about it now, this is the way it's going to be. I know I had to have this conversation at some point. I figured I'd have it now instead of later. That way, when I say, hey guys, if you'd like to help with underwriting the channel, if you'd like to, because when you read in my articles now, what I'm asking is if there's people that can give $20 a month or $100 every 3 months, that ensures that I can get the stories and focus 100% of my time on this versus having to split it between funding. Because I mean, if I'm ever going to get off the streets, I have to be able to have a livable income, and I have to be able to generate it in an ethical way. And this is my ethical way where I bring value to you, and in return, hopefully it turns into something livable for me. What do you guys think about that? Yes, that's exactly Dina or Dim. That's exactly what I'm generally doing is when you've got, okay, so I looked at what NPR is doing. That's the model that I'm taking, is NPR's model. There's a clause in there, like if I get a corporate underwriter, I have to have them sign a contract that says that just because they underwrote me, they gave $100 or $250 or $500 for the quarter, that they don't get any special privileges, nor does it make them immune from any investigation that I may do surrounding them. So these people are doing it because they believe in what I'm doing, not because they're trying to get some sort of favorable stuff. Because if I'm able to keep my independence, I have to get funding from somewhere. Editors are only going to take certain stories, so therefore they're going to dictate what I put out. You guys decide whether or not you like the information, and if you like the information, you fund it to keep it going. Whereas an editor, I could try 20 different stories. I may only get one to actually hit, to where I might make $100 or $200 or $300 on it. Okay, so therefore I have to put myself to the wants, needs, and desires of an editor if I were to, go through that avenue. So that's why it's more important that I am viewer funded versus being funded through other means. Okay, so corporate isn't the way if you want true liberty. So what do you suggest? Okay, no, dude, I'm telling you, expecting gratitude from people isn't gonna get you off the streets. I promise you. Well, Dina, actually, just so you know, that's actually how I bought my property. So I think. Oh, hey, what's up, Michael? All right. But yeah. It is guerrilla income for guerrilla newscast. 45 for what? Under dollar? What? No, 4,500 for that's 1,500 a month per quarter. That's what $4,500. The other $500 is raised through AdSense and other means that I have. So like if I do consulting or stuff like that. So keep doing what you're doing, Tuck. Is just slower this way, which is also my way, which means you always have to spend the money you do touch wisely. Yes, but the thing is I'm right there with you. But there also comes a certain point, because when I got off the streets, what was it? 2020, Thanksgiving of 24. When I got off the streets, Thanksgiving of 24. I was ready to get off the streets and stay off the streets. I had done my traveling. I don't mind doing it right now, but my goal is to get back to that stability. But it's going to be on my own terms that allows me to be mobile, because with what I'm doing, I've always got to be on the travel. So I can show up in a city, stay for a month, rent a room for $600-$700 for the month, and move the fuck on. Not on cardboard. I will help you make a sign not on cardboard. I will try that, but it's also got to go with me to camp every day. So cardboard, I can get a new piece of cardboard, and every couple of days when I do a new article, that's a new QR code. I just put that up today. The QR code you saw 2 days ago is a different QR code than this one. So I keep updating the QR codes and doing it on this, because like I'm trying to find the right thing that brings enough people in. So how long does that last, though? Someone is generous for 1 or 2 months. You can't expect everyone to just continue indefinitely if you have that much faith in people, I guess, but I sure don't. DMEC, it's not that. There's a natural attrition. Okay, this is why I say $20 a month, $100 a quarter. You may only do one donation, but the thing is that there's a cycle of people. Over that 3 months, there's gonna be fresh blood, and there's gonna be new people that might want to add to that. So the ones that like, hey, I was just gonna do it as a one-time thing. I'm gonna give you $100 a year and call it good, because that's what I want to put out. Great. The next quarter, somebody else may have the same mindset. So now all of a sudden it becomes recurring. It's like with my cleaning business. I had my one-offs. I had my post-construction cleanings, my one-time cleanings, my move-in, move-out cleanings. But I was constantly looking for recurring. And recurring were harder to get. Recurring required a certain finesse with to be able to keep it. And most people would only keep recurring for 3 months, maybe 5 months tops, before a financial situation would happen to where they're like, okay, I just can't do this anymore. My finances have changed, things like that. It had nothing to do with the work that we're doing, because they were always completely satisfied, and they would call us back on a one-off, but they just didn't have the money to keep doing it on a bi-weekly, weekly, or monthly basis. Okay, so there's always a natural attrition. So your one times make up for the attrition that happens in your recurring, but your recurring, it gives you something to start out with. So if I know I'm starting out with $700 a month on my recurring, that means that I only have $1,300 to make to reach a goal of $2,000 a month. Versus if all I solely relied on was the one times, some months I would make $5,000, other months I'd make 500. It just depends. And so you've got to be able to balance the both. You can't just have, that's what the memberships are for the people that want to get something in return, that want a closer connection, that want to be able to see more. That's what the Real Talk tier is. The Real Talk tier is the most valuable tier I have because it gives you all of my educational content plus a once a month educational video that's a deeper dive into the topics I've been talking about for the month. And sometimes I try and do two, but I'm only on the hook for one. I'm trying to get to a point where I can do two of them a month. Over on for the supporter tier, you're getting to see a lot of the behind the scenes stuff. So like if you're really interested in seeing a lot of Sam, that's where I'm putting pictures of Sam, because as we're doing things, like if you want to see the rainstorm that we went through last night, that's what the supporter tier is for. That way you get to see the pictures, you get to see you get to see all the stuff that goes on that doesn't make it on camera. Okay, so those are ways for you to those are like my recurring. Okay, somebody doing either $20 a month for 3 months or $100 once a quarter. Those I look at more like my one times, but I need to have enough one times while I'm building my recurring basis. And my recurring basis, because of the audience and certain things, I may never really get a lot of members over the years. And it may take me a minute to be able to get to that point. Like for example, on Patreon, I had several paid members, but I lost like $30 worth of paid members this month. It happens. I'll gain a whole bunch, I'll lose a couple, I'll gain a whole bunch, I'll lose a couple, I'll gain a whole bunch, I lose a couple. I'm trying to keep more than I lose. And that's the overall thing. But that takes years and years to build. It took me 2 years on the residential side just to be able to be able to pick my clients. The first year I had to take the bottom of the barrel, the people that were the worst clients ever. Okay, so okay, Tuck just says okay, how long okay, ignored. Dina is living high coast way of life, mortgages in the cities, in the matrix. Okay. How long does that last, though? Someone is generous enough for 1 or 2 months. You can't expect everyone. No, but there are people that rotate in and out as new people. And even if it's just a once a month thing, if I can just get people in the habit of it, once a month, every once in a while, maybe once every few months, it's not something that I want you to like, oh my God, I got to do it. No, it's more like you have certain restaurants that you really, really like, okay? And so sometimes you will go and do an extra visit or two because you know that they're in a slow part of the year and you want to make sure that they're open for when you go in there. That's the way that I'm approaching it. He accomplished his property this way, independent, and so I'm staying independent even with the real challenges that come along with it. I'm fine with that, but progress has been made. Okay, exactly what preaches in churches for centuries. Okay, the guy making your thumbnails has the same thumbnails as every channel. Fire him. No, that was well, you telling me to fire myself then. That's fine. I just don't think any side is easy. There will be challenges in anything that you do. Yes. And the thing is I'm doing this on my own terms, in my own way, the way that I want it. I don't want other people to tell me how to live my life. I want to be able to live my life on my terms. And if that means I got to live off of less, well, I find that following, because in reality, I only need 1,000 very, very dedicated viewers to make sure that I will always be afloat and able to keep doing this. That's the reality of it. People think you need hundreds of thousands of people, millions of followers. No, you need 1,000 super fans. Those 1,000 super fans will make sure that you are never under the weather. Okay, and that's the reality of it.